I don't think anybody's done this yet, but like, what if somebody did a podcast where they're talking about something really boring, like basket weaving or something, but the guys that host the show, no matter where they are or what they're doing, they're just powering through it. Like somebody could be skydiving
in the middle of a war, or you know, middle of literally in no man's land in a trench in World War I,
or Chuck E. Cheese when it's very busy. It's the same thing.
Exactly. Right.
But no, I was thinking like if you're skydiving and the other guy's like, you know, in the bathroom, or he's doing some chores like painting a house or something, and he's just like, I think I would enjoy something like that. But
there you go.
And they can be talking about something completely off the wall, like
you're insane.
Let's talk about history. Let's talk about Prince Edward. Well, I take a here on this toilet.
No.
Anyway.
Okay, so now.
Oh yes.
So leave it to me to be responsible.
There I am. I hit a wrong button. I was trying to do something else. I was trying to do this.
Oh yes, it was like lightning.
So
Everybody
Reminiscence.
was fighting.
Hugh Jackman, Rebecca Ferguson, and I actually looked up how to pronounce her name. Thandiwe. She changed her name to Thandiwe Newton.
Now, which one is Thandiwe Newton? Is that the
Hugh Jackman's assistant in this movie?
Right. She was cool.
Yeah. So Nick,
the three leads I loved.
Would you call Nick Bannister a private investigator? I don't know if that's what I would call him.
You know I
but
didn't know what
accidental, maybe.
Here, get back to us on the screen here.
But I wanted to tell you people what this was about. It's about some guy that tries to figure out the past of these clients that he shows their past to because they're lonely and sad and they want to watch their memories when they have brains where they can just remember their memories. But anyway, this girl that he likes, something happens and he tries to figure out what happened to her. I'm trying to be vague.
And vague is about the best that you're doing.
Well, that's pretty much how you would describe me. Well, here's Mick Strawn. He tells a lot of interesting stories on Dream Warrior Review, but he's kind of vague, but we like him.
Got a nice voice, but you know. You know what? I was just going to bring this just out of the blue. So I was working in Toronto, and they made me the bookseller. And they made me the narrator in the film because they said I had an unusual voice.
Ah, well, that's cool.
Which is, I don't know.
We can't afford to use the guy that does Mickey Mouse's voice, so Mick Strawn is our second choice.
Let's get Mick to do it. Yeah. Anyway, so reminiscing.
Reminiscence. Yep.
There was something about this movie that was the most medium movie I've ever seen. It was like I was just right in between loving it and hating it and loving it and hating it all the way long.
See, I hate it when we agree, like right out the bat, because I'm like, oh, this is going to be a boring episode.
Exactly the same thing through the whole thing, all the way along. I mean, I was just kind of like, it's as Paula put it, because she watched it with me, and Paula goes, you know, it's funny. It's like I keep wanting to turn this off. And I just
well, part of it's the narration by Hugh Jackman. It was a little bit flat. Like it wasn't like your old 40s, like, you know, I found this girl and I was gonna look into what she wanted. Like it was more inflection, you know. He was just kind of like, I wanted to find out what happened to her.
There's just something about it that was just not thrilling, you know.
It was an attempt to do a detective movie. It was a cool setting and a really cool idea.
I thought that it looked really interesting, but the writing of it.
Yeah. Did you feel like it kind of grinded to a halt, like halfway, or just kind of went?
Yeah, like halfway. Well, you know, here's the thing. It could have been a modern film noir, right?
Yeah.
But the writing was not up to a style. The writing didn't have a.
Sorry, Lisa.
It didn't have a hook of a style to it that really made you think that it was a film noir classic. You know, the classic, and I got to say this. What was the Ridley Scott film in the 80s? Blade Runner, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Blade Runner was like a version of a new film noir.
Well, I think they were trying to do that with this.
And I think that they were trying to do that with this, but it didn't have cadence. You know, Blade Runner had a cadence.
Well, you had Harrison Ford, and his voice is amazing. It's like, you see what I'm saying? It's like he carried it a little bit.
Yeah,
but Blade Runner is one of my favorite movies, so I can't really say anything bad about it.
There just wasn't that cadence to it. You know, it's like you wanted it to be written by David Mamet or something, so that everything that they said was, you know.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, this was written and directed by the same person, by Lisa Joy.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if she wrote it, maybe if somebody else directed it, and
what have I said about that? I said the thing is that it has a tendency to not see its own weaknesses. Yeah. And that's the thing, is there wasn't anything. It had a classic look, you know, and they could have gone more with a dialogue style that went with that classic look. And every once in a while, they kind of did a little hint of it, but overall, it was kind of scattered.
Totally.
Sort of
I did like how they did the reminiscing. I kind of like that machine they were using. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. I kind of like the way that you faded in and out of it every once in a while without even knowing that you were there.
Right.
You know, all of a sudden you were back in the reality of it, and you went, "Oh yeah, I was in that."
Yeah, but you're totally right. I feel like if this was a table read, I would have gotten the same out of it. If I was just sitting there listening to people read it.
Exactly. It's like,
But it's interesting because the girl that Hugh Jackman was in The Greatest Showman with the other actress, Rebecca Ferguson. Right. I think this was actually her real voice, which I don't think they used her real voice in The Greatest Showman, but I thought that was interesting that they would use her.
I think that she was the standout for it. The two women obviously did a better job than Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman, yeah. I have to say that Hugh Jackman is kind of the one that let me down on this. Is he didn't have a particular presence.
Well, it's like, okay, if you're talking about Blade Runner, Harrison Ford carried it like a balloon,
right?
While Hugh Jackman was kind of an anchor, dragging the thing along.
This was more anchored by his assistant than it was.
Oh, absolutely.
Anybody.
She definitely gave a lot more to it, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is that doesn't work. You know, that's a wonderful thing and all that, but it doesn't work for the story because she's kind of out of the way when the most important elements of the story happen, you know?
Well, plus it was a lot of, the writer directed it, so there's a lot of exposition, I thought, more than you need ever.
Yeah. There were times there when you were backtracking, you're going to go,
yeah. Exactly. No, we got that. Yeah, come on.
And then it's Hugh Jackman. We only had limited action scenes. I'm like, I want to see Wolverine beat somebody up. Of course.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was decent. That's kind of what word I would use to describe this. I don't know if I have a lot to say about it because I thought it was wasn't mind blowing.
No, you're absolutely right. There is not as much to say about it because it wasn't said in the right voice. It wasn't said in the right tone.
Right. But I did kind of come back toward the end into the action a little bit when Hugh Jackman learned some stuff about stuff. Right. Because he was looking into stuff.
Right. The end of it.
Yes.
The last 15, 20 minutes when the story stopped going in stupid circles, right?
Yes.
Because it had been going in circles. No, it had been going in circles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back to the same character.
It was like that Nightmare on Elm Street 4, where they kept repeating the Earth.
Exactly. It was like, da-da-da-da-da-da. How are we ever going to get out of this loop? Oh, I got an idea. Exactly. It was like, da-da-da-da-da-da. How are we ever going to get out of this loop? Oh, I got an idea. Exactly. It was like, da-da-da-da-da-da. How are we ever going to get out of this loop? Oh, I got an idea. Keep on going around. It's exactly. And then all of a sudden, it's like all of a sudden you're moving forward again.
Yeah. Well, I also like how the people that were living above the water were using sprinklers. I was like, I like that little touch. That was kind of a nice little touch there.
The fountain.
Yeah.
And really, honest to God, there's a part where the guy walks down the middle of the fountain, and you're like, was it really 100%? Even Paula, both of us turned, is this 100% necessary? Because he wants to be dry for once in his life, right? I mean, you know, the thing is, you're up above ground, you're in the dry area, and you walk through the sprinklers. You know, I mean, it's not smart.
Yeah.
It's not my. It wasn't my favorite for tone. I think that they could have gone. You know, this would have been better if they had gone the other way with the tone. You know, just almost too far with it would have been. You know. So anyway, you've gone and walked.
Yeah, exactly.
Like thinking, wow, you know, I haven't seen a dame like that in a couple weeks since I was down at the strip club on the corner. This woman was really a woman. You know, we could have done with that kind of thing. You know, it would have worked in this case because you're all kinds of hyperbole anyway. You know, with the first four, absolutely everything underwater. You know, it was a.
Or they could have gotten like an Ian McClellan kind of guy to narrate it and be telling a story about some young lad back in the day, and it ends up being him or something, you know, or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Like that. Something.
Somebody who has a really good voice, theatrical kind of presentation.
What light through yonder window breaks? Juliet is the east, and I am the sun.
Exactly. I mean, it needed exaggeration at that point. It needed, it's not like it wasn't already exaggerated as hell anyway, you know?
Right.
Anyway, that's that, but, and the problem is it's more than a quibble for it, you know? It needed that to match this kind of amazing overall look that the thing had.
Yeah, no, actually the whole thing was pretty well done. I mean, I don't have any complaints as far as production value or anything like that.
No, not at all. No,
I mean, obviously, it's a big budget film, but.
And you know, the thing is it needed a film noir voiceover for when he picks up the earring and because you knew that the earrings were going to be a major factor and carry you all the way through, right?
Yeah.
You know, you needed a film on show. She dropped her earrings. I'm looking at them going, you know, these pieces of jade are going to be around for 3 hours. You know, that's just had that feeling to it, right?
Right.
But it wasn't there. You know, the voice part wasn't there.
Right. Like Dead Men Don't Die, right?
You know, I did want to tell you a little funny story because just to tell you how connected I am in ways that you know, playing Kevin Bacon for me it's not really a game. It's
right.
The Kevin Bacon game, you know, 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. So I've got one to this film. It's story time with Mick. It's story time with Mick. Mick Strawn is the best. He is gonna blow your mind. Story time with Mick. Story time with Mick. It was done by Michael. What is his name? Michael. Right on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, his production company did this, and his very first job was as a writer for New Line Cinema, and he came down when we were doing Tales from the Dark Side, and he was this little kid. I mean, literally, little kid from New York, right? His little slight guy that always came to work in this meticulous suit and tie, and like you could see him walk across the stage, and people would move around him like he was a pariah, like you know, like he had plague forehead,
right?
He just
like a
moved
leper
away from him, and he kept landing in my offices, right in the very back of the building, you know. And it's like the third day that he come in, he's sitting in my offices, and of course, like things are going around like this, and he never seemed to catch up to that. So you knew that someday he was going to be involved in production, because because he would sit still and everything would crash around him and move away from him. You know, to not be involved is to be part of a producer, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you sit there and you go, you know, Mick, it's really weird. I just don't feel like I'm fitting in here. And I go, well, you know, I don't know how could you possibly feel like that? You look like an accountant. You look like an accountant on the Chicago set of Candyman. See what I did right there was a reference to another.
Wow.
Yeah, he really did. I mean, I was like, dude, you know, like loosen up, go somewhere and get yourself a t-shirt and jeans and get out of this, like, whatever this is, this monkey suit with the tie and everything, you know.
Well, I think you dressed for what you want to be, so he was dressed to be a producer.
Yeah, right. Maybe you thought the writers actually look like that, you know, and you know, if you really want to dress to what you want to be, and at the time I know he wanted to be a writer, you know, you would come in you know, stained sweats and a backwards baseball cap, you know. I mean, that would have been dressing for, you know, what you want to be when you grow up. But so the next day he came in and he was like, you know, just t-shirt and jeans and stuff like that. And he came back and he says, this is so much better. It was like, man, dude, I thought you were a writer. Do you like not see, you know, you in relationship to this? I mean,
you're supposed to observe people.
There's a song about it and we all know it. It's like, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is just not the same. Right? You know, I mean, come on, dude. What did you like miss every Sesame Street that, you know, everybody else got? You know, we all got that memo.
Right, yeah. My kids even got that memo. See?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Generations.
Like, hello. Sorry. So anyway,
did we rate this? I don't think I did.
Did we rape it?
No, did we rate Reminiscence? I'm trying to think of
rate. Rate. Oh, I see. Yeah, you know, I am not going to remember that any of this happened tomorrow. So
I'm looking at kind of a 1.8 or a 2.
Yeah, I don't see this as being above a 2. You know, maybe I'll give it a 2.3 just because it did look good, and I like the people in it. I just thought that they're better and that they are all better than this, that the writing could have been better. And I think that the delivery of a given style, I mean, yeah, it's really kind of awkward and weird. The fact that, you know, the actors didn't bother to give it a style. It's kind of strange because, you know, our department did, you know, it's a great looking film. It's just.
Well, I thought most of the actors except for Rebecca Ferguson were playing it like a Marvel film.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
No, so watch the movie behind me, Basil Rathbone as Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, no, but there's a sense of stuff. There's you know, verbal style out the nose there. You know, everybody in those films, they all had a very specific. You know, they went in, you know, to create that little world. The strange thing about this is, our direction went in and created, and special effects created a great world, and nobody decided to move in. Right,
it was very limited how much you saw the flooded world or whatever.
Yeah, and just these guys just needed to make it live, you know.
I think Lisa should have had somebody else direct it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who. But.
I have talked about this before. You know, it is very hard to be the triple threat. The you know, the producer, the director, and the writer, because boy, you just duplicate. That's the same reason that you don't marry your sister and you don't refer to mommy, daddy, to mommy, sister, and daddy, brother, because you start replicating your mistakes, and that's exactly what happened here.
Wow, that's interesting to bring it around to inbreeding.
I'm sorry. You know what? It had to be said.
You've been in Tennessee too long.
There may be something to that.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think it's time that this one went away too.
Yeah. I think we both know when the show should end.